Hello and welcome to AltheaSuite. Today I'm going to be explaining how to receive credit notes from finance agencies. To get started, we're going to go to our sales module, and then we're going to go into finance agencies briefly. Here's a list of all of my agencies. The one I'm going to be talking about today is going to be the one for Marcone. So within Marcone, we have it listed as an agency type. And up here, we're also labeled this as a warranty provider. But more importantly, we've also listed that Marcone also exists as a supplier in my account. With all of that said, we're going to go and take a look at one of our service call documents that we've created. Once we're here in the service calls, we're going to look at this first one right over here for this customer. I'll modify the service call document and scroll all the way down. You can see that this is being covered by the manufacturing warranty. And this service call has a part in here that's being covered by the warranty provider here, Marcone, which, as you saw in the previous screen, that Marcone is also the finance agency and also listed as a supplier. Now, I've already created an invoice against this service call, in which case Marcone is going to be covering. So you can see over here, the sales price for this part is at $67.13, but because Marcone's covering it, in the invoice, we're displaying it as the cost price, which is a little bit lower than the sales price. So with that, we're going to go and exit out of this service call, and we're going to go and look for that sales invoice that we've created against that service call. It's this top invoice right here. And if we look at this invoice, we're going to put it in the view mode. Here's that part. And the cost price of the part is at 51, but plus the tax, it brings it to 54.23. So we put that 54.23 against the finance agency. In this case, it's going to be Marcone. So the next piece that we need to go to is actually going into receive payments. So with all that said, we've come to this point where we want to receive the money from Marcone. We would have normally done that if we want to receive payments from that finance agency, but we want to receive this as a credit note. So we have a third option over here, create credit note from the finance agency. So once we click on that option, it wants us to choose which agency, in this case, Marcone. Now in this account, we have a lot of different invoices against Marcone, but here is the most recent invoice, the one that we just saw. If you scroll to the right, we see that 54.23 show up there. So we can change that amount, but this is going to be the amount that Marcone is going to be sending us. So as you can see down over here in this payment section, we'll be collecting this from Marcone as a credit note. So all we're going to do is click that black button with the white arrow. It's going to move all that pending amount into there, 54.23, and then we're going to easily just hit that create button. Once this comes up, the supplier credit note window is going to populate, and then you don't have to put a note in there, but you could. So supplier credit note from service, and then we're going to hit that create button. But we'll bring you back to the receive payment screen. You can see the most recent receive payment was at 54.23. So now with this credit note sitting in here, we will be able to use this credit note for future supplier invoices. If you wanted to get a list of all the different credit notes you have, we actually need to go into another module. We need to go into purchases, and then down over there towards the bottom is the supplier credit note module. Looking at that, you can see all the different Marcone ones. The most recent one over here is the May 30th one, and here's at 54.23. So now with all of our credit notes available, we only have one for Marcone, we will be able to use this for make a payment. So to do that, we're going to make payments. So here on the make payments, we're going to go up to make payment to supplier invoice. We're going to go ahead and find our supplier Marcone. So here's a most recent supplier invoice I've created. Now what we can do is check on that checkbox to start to populate our value. So this supplier invoice is at 64.81. Normally we would use an ACH to pay for this bill, but because we have some credit notes, we can actually click on the credit note section. So now it wants us to add a credit note. This is going to come up from the list of credit notes available that we've created, especially from the one that we just created from that finance agency. So we're going to click on that new button. Here is that supplier credit note we just created. We're going to press OK. And then we do need to specify how much of this credit note that we want to apply. So we want to use all of it. So 54.23. And that will start to reduce down from our payment over here. So we still have a little bit of pending amount to use. We could either adjust that payment amount up there, or we can choose a different mode. So now let's say that we want to pay the rest of this with a check. We'll use that difference there. Maybe put the check details in there and then hit that create. So this is how to receive that credit note from the finance agency, in this case, Barcode. It could be GE, Whirlpool, the likes of those, reliable. Then for the credit note created, you have that basically as a bank that you can use to apply those different credits to your supplier invoices, in the future. Thank you.